Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. We are the Mile High Property Brothers. Today, interesting one, something you might want to pay attention to even if you're a buyer, but it will be whether or not you should be selling your home in 2022.
I like how our videos go from fun to interesting real fast. Definitely want to check it out, guys. Let's dive into it.
Don't overthink that. I'm an interesting, fun guy.
He is.
His only regret is not knowing what regret feels like. He is the most interesting man in the world.
What's up, guys? I'm Eli Schmidt. This is my partner.
Fun business partner, Will Grimes,
aka the most interesting man in the world. And if it's your first time visiting our channel, hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell because, guys, we drop videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and we tell you everything there is to know about moving to or living in the entire Denver, Colorado area.
100%. And we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, which means as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So that number that's popping up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So as much as we'd love to do this, we'd love more to help you guys. But with that being said, let's dive into it. 2022, should you sell? Should you not sell? Let's dive into it.
Many of you guys who've watching our channel, especially if you've been following us for a while, maybe you live in other states, and now we're starting to talk more about people who live in Colorado. Well, it turns out about half of our viewers actually are from Colorado, so it is really important still that we talk about Colorado data, but then also keep in mind, if you don't live in Colorado right now and you're thinking about living here, all of this information still applies to you very, very much so. A lot of the real estate markets all across the country are doing very, very similar things. So I promise you these tips are going to be just as important for you as they are for somebody who lives in Colorado.
Correct. And first and foremost, right, depending on your personal situation, if there's a necessity that you have to move, whether it's work related or there's just a time frame right now and there's a window of opportunity for you to move because you're working remote now and there's an opportunity to move while still maintaining your job, or your job is transferring you, whatever it may be, if you guys have personal necessity, that supersedes everything else as far as like whether it's a good idea or not a good idea. I will give you a little precursor. It is still a good idea to move, but more importantly, if there's some things that you guys need specifically and you just have to make that move, we've got a great team around us. We've got agents that are across the country that are helping sell your home outside of the state of Colorado and then helping you guys with us getting into Colorado. Or if you're in Colorado right now and you're looking at selling your home here, yes, we have agents in other states that can help you navigate if you're moving out of states or if you're staying in Colorado, both for the sell or the buy. If there is a necessity and there's a timeline to that window, definitely pick up, make a phone call, see if we can't help you right away. I feel like it's, I'm on a call, like, you know when you call like a corporate place and it's like, if this is an emergency, hang up and call 911. If this is an emergency and you guys gotta sell right now, hang this video up and call our number.
Yes.
Right now, see if we can't help you, right?
100%. Now, you guys may be wondering why we keep talking about sellers. You guys may be also wondering, hey, is this turning into a buyer's market? Now, we are so far off from this turning into a buyer's market, but just to give you a little context to you guys a little bit about why we're doing these videos is because interest rates went up a couple points. What that did was that pushed some buyers out of the market because interest rates were just so cheap before. You bump them up a few points, there's gonna be a handful of buyers that aren't gonna be able to afford to purchase at the moment.
Or they feel like even if they can, they don't necessarily want to because they're not paying attention to your equity advantage of buying sooner than later. They wanna wait to see the interest rates drops. Bottom line is, just to jump on all over what you're saying, is if you guys are giving up equity to save a point or two potentially in the next year or two on your interest rate, it's just not a good idea.
Yeah, very much so. But what we're feeling right now is that sellers are kind of curious if we're at the top of the market or maybe the market's peaked. And here's the deal. It's been going 20% the past 3 years, year after year after year. That's just not sustainable. It has to slow down here at some point.
And with interest rates creeping up a little bit, that's definitely a key indicator that we're probably more toward the highest point of our market, at least for the near future, for the next 12 to 24 months, where, hey, prices are going to start stabilizing and not necessarily increasing 20% overall, right? Like more of like a 16, maybe an 8% Don't quote me on that. Either way, like, it's going to stabilize, and a lot of that's just because of the viability. If you've got a couple more points on your interest rate, your viability as far as how high you can go might not be there, or even if it is, maybe you're a little bit reluctant to spend that cash and you want to keep that much. You could throw out an appraisal gap just in the bank for yourself, and you're more reasonable toward the price that they're asking for.
Yes. Now, if you're asking, should you sell? If you need to sell or you're contemplating selling, now is 1000% the absolute best time to do so.
Correct. And you also have to think about, like, hey, where are you buying at, right? Because yes, it is still a great market to sell your home, right? And there's still plenty of buyers that are out there. Yes, have some slowed because of interest rate. Also, some buyers have slowed down a little bit because of vacations during the summer and taking their kids out after school and all of your normal ebb and flow reasons as far as like why the market stabilized a little bit with buyers, even beyond interest rates, right? Like you have some of that, but it's still a great market to be a seller. There are some things you guys can do as far as separating yourself from the competition, which is what we did in the last video. So if you have not seen that one, definitely take a look at our last video. But bottom line, it's still a great opportunity, but more importantly, hey, where are you looking at buying? Why do you want to buy? And yes, the sooner you're there, the better, because you want to capitalize on the equity that you are entering in while capitalizing on the equity you have here that you're going to be selling in order to get to where you want to go sooner, and capitalize on that versus waiting. Who knows what that looks like, and you could be a year late there and miss out on a lot of equity wherever you're going.
Now, one of the biggest things we are stressing with our sellers that we're working with right now is to have proper expectations, and still it's more important than ever to make sure your home is prepped appropriately and that it is priced ultra competitively, because the more bodies you have come in the door, the more offers you're going to get, and the more offers you have, the better you can compete those offers with each other so that you can get the ultimate best price for your home. But if you price your home too high, you're not going to get the showings, which means you're not going to get the bodies and the offers, which means you're hoping for asking price on your home.
So where you'd like to finish is not necessarily where you start when it comes to that price point. You guys want to be extremely competitive. You want to create a lot of traction as far as like what your home is priced at and what it looks like. But more importantly, guys, where some of those over asking prices come from when it's more of a stable market like it is right now, and it's not a crazy market like it was a couple of months ago. And by the way, some of those homes that even went for crazy prices ended up falling out of contract a lot of times. So don't necessarily believe in the smoke and the mirrors that you've seen past 6 months. Bottom line, there is some things that you can do to create some separation. Look at the last video, but more importantly, guys, it's once people come to see your home and it's exactly what they need it to be, it's exactly what they want it to be, and it has a look and a feel and just the atmospherics of it do well for them, that's when people are willing to go over asking price. That's when people are willing to get competitive with their offer to win it, because there are things beyond just your asking price that are important to them. That's where the demand gets created as far as like, hey, what does the market say? Well, the market's people, right? So if you want to go over asking and be competitive, it's got to be great as far as like your videography and your photos and just marketing proximity to what's around your home, right? Local parks, what your HOA has to offer, pools, proximity to grocery stores. If you're on a cul-de-sac, if there's something great about your neighborhood, we've got to market that. And then when they get there and they see it in person, right? It's everything they want and need to be, maybe even more. And that's where they say, hey, out of everything that there is as far as our options out here as a buyer, we want to go all in on this one. We want to do whatever it takes to be that winning offer. But it's going to come from how they feel about the home once they see it. It's not going to come from the marketing material. The marketing material is what gets them interested to seeing it. Getting them there is what creates that demand over asking, but that's nothing you can necessarily predict. That's just traction and attention that we have to create in order to get people there, which creates the competition.
So here's what I would say you guys should do. If you have a need or you're thinking about buying or selling right now, home prices are still very high. There are still a lot of buyers out there, so you can take your equity. Now, I would also, if you're not needing to buy or sell right now, here's what I would do. I would forecast into the next couple years in the future. Is your family potentially growing? Are you potentially needing to downsize? Is there any sort of change that you could foresee in the next 3 to 5 years happening where it would make sense to possibly sell, or at least should be on your radar? Because home prices are still very good. Buyers are still paying what they're willing to pay.
Correct.
But here's the thing, on the buy side right now, interest rates are still reasonable. They're right around that like 5-6% mark, still reasonable.
And there's less competition.
Less competition, so you're not having to go 100,000 over asking price. And let's say on your buy side, if interest rates drop within the next 2 years, anytime after the next 6 months, you can always do a refi and come back down to that lower interest rate. But that way you're able to capitalize on your equity in your home with high home prices and still have a reasonable interest rate.
Correct, and you're not missing out on the equity. If you guys move somewhere and you're owning that home for 2 years, and that area that you move into has 16 or 18 or even 8%
or even 3
appreciation, even 3% appreciation, that's significantly more money you're gaining than losing a little bit on your interest rates over time throughout your payments, right? Like, super important, a lot of great keys, but bottom line is it comes down to necessity. It comes down to forecasting your future.
Yep.
Should you be downsizing soon? Could you do that a little bit sooner than later? Are you going to be growing a family? Or you need a little bit more space, so you want to take that opportunity of not having as many buyers out here? You could still high right now. Get out there and not have to compete against as many buyers during the summertime. Could be some great options. Either way, whatever works for you. And you know what else works for you? Us. We work for you because yes, we are licensed brokers in the state of Colorado, and yes, just as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you guys with those real estate needs. So that number that's popping back up below, we are the guys trying to the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So if there's something we can do to help you guys, we would love to work with you and help you. But until next video, you guys enjoy your week. We will see you very soon.
See you guys.